Sports Buffet's back. So first off, got my Cleveland Indians 1995 AL Championship hat. Goodwill pickup for $1.99.
That's my favorite one.
How sweet is that, dude? Like, I saw this. It had the tag still on it, which I was like, I think they might have, I don't know if they might have beat the Yankees, like, in one of these series, or, like, the Yankees, no, the Yankees, 95, so the Yankees started their run in, like, 96, I think, right?
96, yeah, they probably beat up on the Yankees. That was, like, Kenny Lofton, Albert Bell.
Sandy Alomar Jr., I think, was, like, a...
Manny.
Was Manny with them, too?
I think a young Manny was on there, yeah.
Omar Vizquel. I don't know any of their pitchers, really, who was, like, beasting for them back then.
Maybe Oral Hershiser?
Oh, really?
Maybe.
He was just, like, the OG of, like, the game. Like, just, like, nerdy dude, but just straight. Like, there's some pitchers. And first off, welcome everybody back to Sports Buffet number 4. Me and Quiet Giant, Matt, going in again. But, yeah, this Indians team actually was pretty epic. Oh, you know who might have been on the team? Was Bartolo Colon on that team? I know he started with, like, the Indians.
That's a good one. I think he was.
And he was, like, super skinny, because I remember seeing his, like, rookie card, and he was just, like, crazy skinny.
Dude, he was throwing, like, 97, 98.
Gas. But then, like, you compare... I mean, like, he still could probably throw it at maybe 90, but he's, like, 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Is he doing anything now?
I don't think he's on a team, which is crazy, because, like... He did all right last year.
That's what I'm saying. I randomly went to his Twitter account, I think, like a couple months ago, and he was like, he was promoting some product, and he was like in his backyard throwing a ball, and then I was like looking through it, and it was like him in like a Texas Rangers uniform or something. I was like, is this guy still on a roster?
His Instagram and like social media is weird because he does do that. Like I think he just posted a random picture of him wearing his Mets jersey in his kitchen, so he's ready to play. Random, and I love it that like it's so, like the MLB is so different where it's just like there's all these old school cats like Bartolo Colon or let me try and think of somebody off the cuff right now, which I definitely can't. But like I feel like the MLB embraces like the old dude who could be like a veteran on the team, whereas the NBA will sort of like start to push him out. Like a Jamal Crawford is always fighting for like a roster spot, or like Melo can't get a job. But like if you're a Melo or a Jamal Crawford in Major League Baseball, like they'll find a spot for you. Whether, you know, if it's not on the roster, like Ichiro, they still were like begging him to play at the end of his career, and he was like, "Dude, guys, I can't do this anymore. Like I'll do your Japan tour, but then I got to retire. I got to be out."
Yeah.
I agree with that, yeah.
They just like drag him. So like Bartolo, I feel like he'll get another shot somewhere. Like if he could just go into like a training session and show them that he could still like throw a little bit of heat, because like he just like can get guys out. I don't know, for whatever reason, he just has stuff that gets guys out.
Well, baseball also, you're playing baseball in short spurts, so it's like Ichiro can get that one at bat in the ninth. Why not? Because he's been there so many times before. He's a good guy to have up there. And like Bartolo, he could throw a couple innings a week. And during the downtime of that, they're just like talking to the younger guys.
100%.
Like, in a 3-hour game every single day, they're probably learning so much from those guys, as opposed to like NBA is so fast. Like, they're not like really pointing shit out.
Yeah. I was just thinking too. Chase Utley's another dude. The dude played like He still, I think maybe is on or no, he might have retired, right? Because the Phillies retired his jersey.
Yeah, retired last year.
But I'm saying he must have been old as shit last year.
Yeah.
He's still sliding into guys and injuring the hell out of them and just like getting clapped for it. But yeah, no. Shout out to all the old dudes in Major League Baseball. When I went to Dominican Republic, I think I told this on Kyle and Corin before, but like I was driving through some little village, some like poor ass little village, and there was like a rest stop that we stopped at, and the lady who was like making the chicken had told us that like Bartolo Colon stopped in there and like was supposedly gonna buy that rest stop for like $1 million or something, and like he just never came back and did it. And then like a couple miles up the road was like the little town he was from, and there was a baseball stadium there. It was like Bartolo Colon Stadium, and it had like all these murals of every uniform he was ever in. And it was actually pretty cool because there was like young kids, like young Dominicans playing on the field and practicing. And then outside of the stadium was like this little baby Jesus thing that like it definitely resembled Bartolo Colon, that like was like this baby Jesus Bartolo Colon that like was like he must have built for himself outside the stadium. It was so epic because like it was such a poor town, but like a couple miles away is where he lived, and literally the house was humongous, and it had like, you know, in Russia they have like those like circular dome buildings that like sort of looks like a nipple a little bit, and there's like a big like spire that comes out the top of it.
Yeah.
It was a house like that, and all of those circular things were just gold plate. Like it was gold. I don't know if it was real gold or not. Probably was, seeing that it's Bartolo Colon. Massive house in like this poor ass little town, and it was just like, it's such a Bartolo Colon move, man.
That is. Make me a statue where it looked like a god
Yeah.
in my town. Put it right in the front.
Epic. But like everybody had good stories about him. They said when he won, I don't know if he won some Cy Young or after he did some milestone in Major League Baseball, he made all beers in like his town like a penny. So like that was like some story that like people were holding on to forever. So shout out to Bartolo Colon, man.
Bartolo's a G.
Yeah. But I don't think he ever bought that rest stop from that lady. So she's still out there if you want to buy the chicken rest stop off like the side of the highway from the town right before you get to the town you live in.
Yeah, like I know his words carry more weight than mine.
No pun intended.
That's like any yeah, for real. But that's like me and you just walking in there. It's like, I'm gonna buy this and then just leaving. See you later.
But like, even think about that for us. Like, as iconic as he is, and as iconic as if we ever got like so famous, it still takes some guts to go back to your village and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna buy like a bunch of restaurants here and just like, you know, I'm gonna own these shits.
I'm surprised that he lives there though. The way it sounds, it's like, dude, it doesn't sound safe. Like he's probably got security and stuff.
Oh, he's got to, but he's almost like a god. It's like Manny Pacquiao with the Philippines, you know, like he's got to feel safe because it's almost just like he's immortalized, and it's almost like if someone does do something to him, it's on some like Selena type of shit where it's just like you're such a fanatic that like you're gonna do something because you're like envious of them, you know?
Well, that's scary. I mean, like
hell yeah.
Like think of David Ortiz.
Yeah,
what
man.
happened. Like that. Like nobody's safe then.
He was also, I think, you know, dipping his toes into some other stuff. You know, like it wasn't just David Ortiz chilling at his restaurant and like some guy randomly walked up and shot him. I think he had.
I like to think that's all it was.
Speaking of that, real quick, the Padres did a funny ass thing. I don't know if you saw this. I saw it right before I got on air, but they had on the jumbotron. They were playing the Red Sox in a series, and they were playing like shout out to all the Red Sox fans here, and they were playing like Sweet Caroline, and then in the middle of it, they just rickrolled them.
Yeah,
That's
I
epic.
like that. I like that. I think more teams and more stadiums should be doing stuff like that. Like
Hell
get
yeah.
creative.
The whole like
3 hours to kill.
exactly, and it's like that was hilarious, and it was like a viral video that was funny. I'm all for like NBA, MLB teams, like their social media and their stadiums, like roasting the other teams. I just saw one with Noah Syndergaard where like the Indians put something out. Did you see that?
Yeah. The Indians like pretty much called us a fringe playoff team. It's like, damn, dude. All right, like shots fired.
Yeah.
And then Noah was just like, yeah, you know what? We are fringe because isn't that what brooms are made of? And we're about to sweep you.
Yeah, it was like I think it was like after they swept him or something like that. But
Yeah.
I love seeing like the beef between like social media teams and like even like Wendy's like their social media is popping. They like are all about like beefing with other fast food chains.
There's some good ones. I like it. There's like it's like a seafood shack in Baltimore that just roasts people.
Oh yeah, didn't they have like a really epic one time with like a baseball
Yeah.
player or something?
Yeah, they like borderline maybe take it too far, but not but, like just stop right there when they should, and it's good.
Yeah. Okay. So first off, let's start it up. No freaking questions this week, man. What's up with that? I was looking through the thing and we didn't get any questions. So shout out still to our two awesome question askers from 2 weeks ago. I'm actually sending them two things, so they do get a prize. Now, if you ask a question going forward, I don't know if I'll give you a prize, but I don't know, take a chance. If you ask a question, you might get the prize. But it was an interesting sports week, so let's get into a little bit. The biggest story that, obviously everybody knows by now, Andrew Luck retired from the NFL. I don't know his age. I should have looked that up before he came on air, but it can't be too old. Do you know?
29.
29 years old. So younger than me, younger than you probably, right?
Yep.
Smart guy, went to Stanford, but basically just came out and said he was mentally worn down and just tired of like the rehab, get mentally prepared, not being able to perform, and then just going through that whole cycle so many times with all of his different injuries. So he retired from the NFL, man, and the Colts really were relying on him. A lot of people were relying on him. I know the Super Bowl, Vegas had them as like 10-1 or something like that to win the Super Bowl. What were your initial thoughts when you heard that? Because I was shocked.
It was so shocking. Like when it came up on, I got the little ESPN.
Yeah.
News.
That's how
when you use
exactly.
That's when you use that. That's perfect because I was like, holy shit!
Yep.
Like, no way did this just happen. But I knew right away when I saw because I didn't know they were playing and it got announced like that and stuff. But I knew right away that it was a bad look for Indy fans to boo. I was like, nah, there's something up. Like, you should probably chill out on that, right?
Yeah, but here's my thing, and I don't want to defend them for booing, which, it's terrible to do that. It's almost just like such a knee-jerk reaction that you don't even really understand what's going on, that you're like, oh, he's not retiring. You don't have time to fully embrace everything that just happened. So I was working an event and I got a text that was just like, yo, Andrew Luck retired. And my first reaction was like what? I was mad confused. And then I started thinking more when I saw, a little bit of more, some more articles and looked into it more. I saw his press conference of how genuine he was and crying and basically said, can't just keep going around this rabbit, this wheelhouse type of deal. And, I felt for him. But my first initial reaction, too, was just yo, what the hell? You can't leave the NFL. You're a young quarterback. Step away or something like that and, think about it. But don't, retire. And don't get me wrong. I don't think if I was at a game I would boo. But I don't know what I would feel. If you heard with 1 quarter left that your quarterback's retiring from the NFL, it's almost just you don't think that's real. That's not something you hear often.
There was this one dude that ESPN showed, and he just had his jersey on, and he had a good seat in the stadium, and it must have just been announced, and it was the end of the game, and it was when Luck was running off the field, and he took off his jersey. I'm like, oh man, he's gonna do something, he's gonna throw it. And he just took it off, had his undershirt on, and was just staring at the back of it, the last name, and was just like. And then he held it up. I'm like, is he going to light this on fire in the stadium? And he just was and was speechless. And I was like, I thought he was going to do the most with that. I thought he was going to throw it on the field.
Yeah.
He was going to step on it, do something. And he just, it was pretty much the exact definition of what everybody felt. He just had nothing to do or say. He was just I don't know anymore.
That's why it's it's amazing that some people can sort of understand the moment that they're in, everyone who was at that game now sitting home is just shit, I was at Andrew Luck's last game, I saw him walk off the field. But I'm sure everyone who saw him walking off the field, whether you were booing, whether it was that guy holding the jersey, you don't know what to think, even photographers, I'm fascinated that they, with everything going on around them, they got to take pictures for their bosses and make sure that they get enough coverage and they got to get the backup quarterback and all these stories that they're covering. But then in that moment to realize, damn, this is his last time walking off the field. We got to get an epic shot of him or something like Kobe playing an NBA season, and then the last game of the season. If you're a photographer, you're amping it up before the game. You're all right, fourth quarter when the game's over, he's gonna hug the coach. He's gonna hug all these people. You can start to prepare yourself for some epic photos that you got, some iconic shots or something like that. But something like Andrew Luck like that, where it's I don't even know how it gets released in the third quarter like that. And something I want to ask you is a lot of the times these huge announcements, you see them get done in like these under the radar moments where you talk about it obviously because it's such a big deal, it's such a huge event, but then it's just sort of like goes away because there's so much other, like, everybody's preparing to ask the coach about the game that night, you know, and everything that they like, questions about roster spots and all these guys trying to make the team, and then Andrew Luck throws a wrench in there, and these people are human. They're not ready for that. You think a guy woke up going to a preseason Colts whoever game thinking that night he's going to have to ask a question about Andrew Luck's retirement, you know? So now the coach comes up to the press conference and says, you know, Andrew Luck announced his retirement, and you're a media member sitting there. You don't have your A-plus question to ask him. Now the next day the coach comes back out and says, you know, I addressed that yesterday. Andrew's not with us anymore. Sorry, we got to move on. Where can you go from that?
Yeah, it's tough. Obviously it's not how they planned it, right? I mean, Andrew.
But maybe it is how they planned it, is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I mean, he handled the post-game interview pretty well, but he did say he was like that. He said the original plan was to have it on Sunday so they could set up this press conference. It's after their game, and then something got leaked out.
Oh, is that what it was?
He did confide in a few people, like on team personnel, and then you know, media is just lurking. So
how does that shit leak out? Like
there's always a rat, there's always a mole, right?
But it's crazy that there is, because it's just like you're telling the most trusted people. He probably told the GM. He probably told like the president of this team. So it makes you think, like, does the president of the team tell his wife, and then the wife sends a text to like her girlfriend, and then like it's always like the barber or like the nail salon lady who will like leak the story. You remember with when Paul George was going to OKC?
Yeah.
It was like the barber tweeted out, like, OKC is some big news coming your way or something like that. And ESPN's like covering this account that's like Fresh Blazing Cuts 559 says that something big's happening in OKC. Like, you're like, what the fuck? Like, who's this guy? One. And then you start looking down a rabbit hole, and it's like he cuts hair for, you know, like Russ and like maybe Robertson on the team or something. It's like he's got a connection that it somehow got leaked down to him, and he's not afraid to share that shit.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy is, like, how do you know who to believe if you're like an unverified account? Like, I would love to just start a Twitter dedicated solely to just like throwing shit out there and hoping it sticks. I would love that. And just, even if I'm like 1 for 10, I got that one, you know? And it's just saying wild shit like that. It's like, you know, and then you get credited for it. Like, every article says, according to, you know.
I guess so. But that started to happen with, I feel like that happened the most, and it's probably been happening forever, but it really started happening with Kawhi Leonard. There was everybody and their mother was like, Kawhi's staying in Toronto. He's like, I know it because I spoke to a restaurant owner who overheard him talking, and it's done deal, staying in Toronto. It started with like him looking at real estate in Toronto. And then, like, all the shit buckled down from underneath it. And then everybody started saying he's going to the Lakers because, like, the Lakers just have a huge media following. And, like, to your point, no one fucking knew.
No one knew, but that's because he did it the best, too. He literally would go into meetings and be like, I will not sign with you if this leaks.
Exactly.
I will not. And it's like, oh, so you can really keep your mouth shut. If you really want to, you can.
But it had even me believing things too, and I was like on the fence because I was like, nothing's gonna leak with Kawhi, you know, because it's like I'm sure the people that he works with would never say anything. And to your point, he probably told the teams like, if anything leaks, you guys are out. But like it would still be like Kawhi to the Lakers, and like you'd see Kendrick Perkins tweeting that, and you're like, he must know something, you know, he was in the league.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying with that. I mean, it's like, I mean, I know Matt Hasselbeck, was Andrew Luck's backup for about 3 years and now is on ESPN. Mm-hmm. He texted, I think it was Schefter or whoever got that story.
Yeah, I think Schefter broke it.
Yeah, it was like, yo, are you serious about this? Because make sure it's really true, because I literally just texted with Andrew about 5 hours ago. He said nothing to me.
Really?
So Schefter was like, no, yeah, this is like really true. Hasselbeck didn't believe it.
I would love to find out like how they get it, man. And it's just like, I remember one time Chris Broussard was like talking about a source that he had, and he was referring to like his mom being at a Cavs game and she overheard someone talking, and like they kept pressing him on who his source was, and he was just I think he came out and said like, well, my mom was at the game and she overheard, whatever, the general manager David Griffin talking about the LeBron dealers, and then like he were just like, yo, your source is your mom, dude. Like, come on, man, be better than that.
Broussard is the GOAT at that. Like, if you YouTube search Chris Broussard sources,
yeah, it's epic.
He's made up some shit.
It's epic. But like, to his point, in my personal life, like, I have sources. I'm not going to tell you where I heard it, but like, it could have been some like person from a person type of shit. But like, if they've got like some knowledge on the situation and they seem pretty confident about it, I'll take your word for it, and I'm going to use you as a source.
Yeah, no, I want sources.
100%.
I do want sources. And like, the closest source I got, actually, I'm going to just say this right here just in case it happens.
Luck's going to come back to the NFL in 2 years?
No. This was like a rumor that my roommate heard.
Oh, you're about to break some personal shit.
So I'm going to do it, and if it doesn't happen, just ignore it. I never said it.
But if it does happen, you're gold, and you could splice this shit.
I want the credit.
Okay, yeah. Let's go. What is it?
The rumor has it that the Jets are talking to Calvin Johnson.
Wow, that's bold.
Sources.
Dude, that's a... Wait, so did you get any background on what the sources was? Was it like he saw him at a stoplight or something in New York, and like... It's like, what are you doing? He was just like, had a meeting with the Jets or something. Like, he had to give you a little bit more. It was just like, Jets are talking to Chad Johnson. Or not Chad Johnson. Why did I just draw a blank? Calvin.
They're probably talking to Chad Johnson too. So if that happens too, then yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I would not be mad at that.
No, I didn't even ask. I was just like, all right, I'm going to run with that.
But it makes me... But now you put that in my... Now, see, you planted that seed in my head.
Yeah.
Now, when I talk to people, it's gonna spread.
Drop that.
But that's how it spreads.
That's water cooler talk right there. Drop that.
That's how it's like, and they'll be like, "Yo, how'd you hear that?" I'll be like, "Oh, my boy in New York knows this kid who saw him or some shit."
Who knows someone who's gotten in with the Jets? It's this is how this goes.
Wow, that's good. That's a really good one, and that's how. I mean. Not that it's a lie, but eventually down the road, I'm going to lie about some shit, and then the next person who says it, who's a Jets fan, is going to lie even more and be like, yeah, he was at the facilities. Like, he worked out for them.
Like, it could be true, could be the most false thing ever. It's like the Little Kim shit, like with the football team.
What happened with Little Kim?
There was, you know how, like, this is going way off topic, but, like, in the 90s, you obviously didn't have, like, the internet, like, at your hand. Like, social media wasn't a thing. You had the internet, so I guess, like, message boards and shit maybe it started, but how she, was
this the Knicks rumor? That, like, well, Biggie's song that, like, she was sleeping with someone with one of the New York Knicks?
That she slept with every member of, like, a high school football team.
Little Kim did?
Yeah, I think
Oh, good for her.
Yeah. I hope it is.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah, that's what we'll do. And
she used to be bad, man, and then like she got all that plastic surgery, and her face just looks like a Play-Doh doll right now.
Melting, yeah.
Shout out to Little Kim, man.
But through that sexual engagement, they said she had to get her stomach pumped. I'm not going to get into details or anything, but I don't know if that's true. But I ran with it when I was like 15.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I heard that.
You got to. Sticking on luck for a second, I think, and again, I'm Mr. Conspiracy over here. I think that it was you don't just come out in the third quarter and announce your retirement. I think there's a lot more thinking that goes into that. You know, like he must have been thinking about this for a while, and maybe it's the right thing to say that he had everything lined up for Sunday and it was going to be all pretty and he could announce it in a suit and tie and make it this whole big thing. But he's an under-the-radar guy, so, like, For him, it's just like announce it in the middle of the game. After the game, they'll ask you some few questions on it. They're not going to be ready to ask you the questions, so it won't be that bad. And then move on. You know, like he doesn't have to face the media anymore. He did it then. He had, what he wanted to say, which he's a smart guy, so he might have thought about it on the spot too. But I think these big announcements. Look at Magic Johnson when he stepped down as the Lakers GM. He did it like, I don't remember the exact situation of everything going on, but it was like, I think it was like playoff night or something like there was so much basketball stuff going on that night, and he just like announced it in front of like a doorway in the middle of like the Lakers arena in Staples Center or something. So the news now has to decide like Curry just went off for 50 and like they beat the Rockets, and that's obviously the lead because it's the Western Conference Finals, or it might have been like the night that the Pelicans got the first draft pick or something. So it's like there's stories that like are real time, have to get covered in that moment, and if you miss it, it's a wrap. So it's like he's like the fourth story of the night. Whereas like same with Luck, it's just like you're obviously going to be the story of the night, but it was a Saturday night. Nobody's really paying attention on the weekend. They're out drinking. It's a late game. I think all these huge announcements that don't want to get coverage all get planned out like that.
Possibly. Also, if you're Andrew Luck right now in this moment, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, you're out, man. You never have to respond to anyone ever again. He said he wants to travel. He's probably fucking halfway to Europe.
Yeah. He's.
What does he care?
But here's my thing, though, and like a lot of people don't realize this stuff, but it's just like football is a tough sport, man. And I had a buddy who played fullback at Wisconsin, and he, he was nowhere near Andrew Luck's level, but like he was a great fullback. Like he had a stint with the Giants, the Lions for a little bit, and then was just on a lot of like practice teams. But he was like, dude, my back was shot, and like now his back, he had to get a couple back surgeries. Like people don't understand. I get an injury on my leg, like a rolled ankle or something like that, and I'm done for 2 months. I can't do anything. I can't walk down steps. And that's from like just rolling it, playing pickup ball. Imagine getting hit every day in the NFL and like just having aches and cracks and all this stuff with all the trainers in the world. It's still your body, So like trying to rehab from that stuff, and then something else starts to hurt, and then it's just like you're trying to mentally prepare, and like you got your teammates hyping you up, coaches telling you shit, media saying stuff. It's probably draining, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the third-string quarterback for the Colts was getting lit up last night.
Was he?
So Luck probably saw the whole line and was like, no, announce this now. Yeah, fuck this.
I didn't realize how bad their offensive line was. And then, like, Alan Hahn tweeted some, like, Dear Jets, like, protect, draft an offensive line now and make sure that we take care of our quarterback and all this stuff. But, like, was their offensive line really that bad in Indianapolis?
I don't know. Last year it wasn't.
Because I thought they were good.
This year they were saying they had problems, and last night the dude was getting rocked. So he's like, yeah, it's over. Yeah, no. He probably just made that last, like, no, I'm not doing that.
I got to get out of here, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Luck. I always think a lot of these guys, he may be a different breed. Like he's very, very educated guy. Not to say that these, like some of these other guys who make the decisions to retire aren't. But I really feel like he's the type of guy that if he makes a decision, he'll be content with it. He's obviously very bright. He can, be a commentator or, write a novel or do whatever the hell he wants to do. He'll figure it out. And he doesn't seem like the type of guy to me that, like, in 2 years, if he gets the itch, he'll, like, be like, I got to get back into a locker room and get that, that fire going again. Like, I feel like he can spark a fire with anything he does. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, at the end of the day, he will do something. I know he doesn't have to get up off his couch ever again with the money that he's made.
Did he get a big contract?
He's made serious money. I don't want to just, like, guess, but I'm gonna guess like 90 million.
Really, that much? I don't think he's ever made that, but I would say 30. I know I read an article that said he doesn't have to pay back his money, but it didn't say how much money it was.
Okay, so yeah, jeez. I mean, he did give up some money because I mean he signed a 5-year, $122 million contract in 2016.
Oh, okay.
So
But
17, 18, 19. Obviously,
does it say how much was guaranteed?
let me see right here. It says the details of the contract are pretty straightforward, so hopefully I can understand this for their version of straightforward and mine.
Yeah, it's like the
You
first
gotta
4
really break
years
this
with
down.
10%.
Yeah. All right, so he was like getting a base salary of $9.5 million 2019.
Okay, that's fair.
So roster bonus of 12 mil, so he got that already. And then 2020, he was set to earn 11 and 11 with the roster bonus. So
So that's this year, right? Because this is the one that I think they were writing the article that he doesn't have to pay that back.
yeah, he doesn't have to pay the 9 and 9 because he made the roster, and yeah, I don't think he has to pay that back.
So he's fine either way, money wise. I don't do fantasy, but I know.
Oh, wow.
What's that?
Slightly over 97 million he's made
Wow.
since 2012.
Yeah, so I mean, like, as bad as people feel for him, like, the guy's made $100 million. You don't have to cry for him too hard.
Dude, I would get hit by a truck every Sunday for that money.
So that makes me ask the question. That makes me ask, and I mean, like, he put his body on the line and all this stuff, but like, are some of those boos warranted?
Nah,
No,
he
dude.
doesn't owe them anything, man.
Put into perspective how much money $97 million is.
It's a lot.
You know, like, at least announce the shit after the game then. You know, like, and I was just, advocating and being okay with him announcing it in the third quarter for it to fly under the radar. But $97 million, maybe some of those fans do have a right to boo his ass.
No, man. No, you don't owe anyone anything.
You don't, but I mean, like, I don't know, I'm sort of starting to, like, second guess myself on this and, like, sort of have, like, a little bit of a catch-22 because it's just, like, you've invested a lot into the team and him and, like, all this stuff. At least, like, have a little mutual respect to, like, announce announce it a little better or something like that. I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit here.
Yeah, he didn't know how that was gonna go like that. I'll stand by him that he didn't really know what he didn't know what he was getting into. I don't think. He's never done that before.
Yeah,
it's not like the Colts are like this media giant. They like their football, but
I don't know how some fans have that natural reaction in them. Like when KD pops his Achilles and automatically, they clap and stuff like that. It's just
that's so bad.
It's that stuff is terrible, and I try to think like, I'm a diehard Knicks fan, and if they're playing somebody in the Eastern Conference Finals and like their best players get injured, does a little piece of me like be like, oh shit, that's what's up? But like, I'm not clapping, but like a little part of me on the inside is just like, we might actually win this series now. Like Steph Curry just got injured or something.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it's one thing to think it, but to like act on it is a little different, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. It's natural. It's like when the Nats came to town against the Mets and Scherzer wasn't ready to go because he was hurt. It's like, that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks for him. I mean, like, he's not dead. He'll be okay.
I don't feel bad for him for one bit.
Yeah. I want to stay on luck a little bit because it is a big deal. And like I said, I don't play fantasy. Have you done any fantasy drafts yet?
Yeah, I did one.
Did anybody, was this prior to the luck decision?
Yeah, it was prior. So I was actually with the guy last night when the news broke of and he had luck.
Really?
In our league. So
break down to me, like, is that a big deal? Like, is that a big, like, roster spot to, like, select luck and, like, have all these people, like, your boy, O.J. Simpson.
See that?
They, like, pan the camera to him and he's all like, look, what'd I ever do to you? Is
with a glass of red right next to him.
People talk about this guy being broke, and yet he's always, like, playing golf. He's got, like, a Mac laptop in front of him, some fresh, like, white button-down shirt on with a glass of wine. It's just like, don't you have to pay all that money to, like, Nicole, whatever her, Nicole.
No.
I thought that he lost the civil suit after the murder trial and owed like his whole life basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's tough because like I don't think they could touch his pension and shit. You know, with the NFL, I don't think they could touch that.
There's got to be some loophole.
Live off that.
I just know that like he was supposed to pay a shit ton of money, and like I think he's supposed to be paying money forever, and then he had said that like he doesn't have money, but yet he's always playing golf and doing all this like crazy expensive stuff.
I think he's good, dude. He goes to these trading card shows and shit, and people like pay top dollar to get an autograph or a picture with him.
Really? He's still going?
People are sick. I don't like.
Are you going to a fantasy draft with him at that restaurant if somebody invites you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you too because you're a picture guy.
Oh.
And like you hop on the moment.
Yes.
To do it, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
So,
I'm all over that picture. Are you kidding me?
you get a picture with him, right?
That's everybody you're friends with on Instagram has to throw that a like. You know, like because nobody has beef. Like people have beef with O.J. Simpson, but no like disrespect to the girl Nicole and the guy who passed away. But like that was like that happened then. Like OJ's good for at least like 150 to 200 Instagram likes easy.
Dude, okay, because I asked my friend this and he said, yeah, no doubt. And I was like, come on, man, like think of what he's done. Like, cause he did it. Think of what he's done. And then I asked him
allegedly,
would you put this on social media? And he said, oh no, absolutely not. I just show it to people.
No.
You're putting that on social media?
100%. The only one that I wouldn't, and this one I've
you two smiling, you know he's a murderer.
Yeah, but I mean, like the Instagram likes are the Instagram likes, bro. Like that'll get Corin's World Instagram page fired up, bro. That could maybe make first take. I
gotta say, I would kill for, you know how he does those awkward ass videos when he's like, well, hello there, Twitter world.
Yeah.
I think you should go check out Corin's World on YouTube. Give them a follow and a subscribe. Have a nice day. Because he talks like that. That's like,
he's very robotic and just weird. That I don't know if I would want that out there. Him promoting my channel in that sense. I would get a lot of people looking at the channel if he did do that. I don't know. I'm torn on that one. I'm definitely taking a picture, I think, with OJ. And I'm being real and raw. Like, I think OJ I'd take a picture with. The one I wrestle with, and I really have wrestled with this one, is if I saw Trump. Would I take a picture with Trump? And I'm so much not a fan of his that, like, I don't think I can post that picture and have people be like, oh, that's what's up, you know? Because OJ's, you're going to get some negative comments, but it's still going to be like, damn, you met O.J. Simpson. Like, that dude's O.J. Simpson.
I will say, like, O.J. is one of the most polarizing figures in, like, the history of the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what you're saying with that, and I think I would take a picture with them too, and like I wouldn't post it. I don't think.
You don't think you'd post it?
No, I just send it to my mom. Honestly,
would she be mad?
She would be like, "Get away from me." And that's like the answer that I would like. I would try to get a response from my mom, and that's it.
He's also probably like the least person who would do something dangerous now. It's like the spotlight's on him so much, so it's just like. You know he's not going to do anything to you if you take a picture with him.
You would have thought that 7 years ago when he barged into a hotel room
and someone stole like his rookie card
because they stole his football. You would have thought that straight after the trial.
That's true. Like, hey OJ, I'm going to put this on my Instagram page, and he's like, what? I don't want to be on Instagram. Twitter's my channel.
He's big on Twitter, and he's like a fantasy football guru now.
Yeah, like, but I don't know fantasy football. Like, and I don't know if you've listened to any of the stuff he says, but like, it seems like he drafted Andrew Luck, and it was just like, you don't know, like, Andrew Luck just retired because he's injured, so like, you don't do that much research to find out, like, you know, like if he's doing well or not.
That was a tough one. I mean, I think he knows his shit though. I mean, he just says basic shit, but. He does do like, I think you should start so-and-so, and I think you should sit This guy.
No, he really gets in the weeds of like the fantasy football stuff, and that like consumes his world now, because it's just like, like you said, he probably goes to shows, like card shows, plays golf, and then what else? Look up fantasy football shit.
Do you follow him on Twitter?
I don't, to be honest.
I have a few friends that follow him. Like, come on, man, just search his name if you want to see.
Yeah,
I do that. I don't follow him, though.
I'm not even interested to like.
I can't give into that. The more followers you get, his pockets are getting lined.
Yeah.
He's like that. It is.
He's getting paid, and it's like I don't even care what he has to say. It almost said like I don't give a shit what he says. Like, so it has to be like I saw that video of him, doing the Andrew Luck thing. But yeah, there's a lot of people that drafted Andrew Luck that I don't know how it works in the fantasy world, but like if they lose that roster spot, or you have to pick somebody else up, how does that work?
Yeah, so they'll just drop Luck. If it's a 12-team league, like that's a deep league, so you may have to pick up Jacoby Brissett, who's going to start now, and who I think will actually do pretty decent.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
like fantasy, I think he'll be all right.
I was just talking to someone too about like New England quarterbacks who, when they're with New England and Brady goes down or sits or something like that, they're phenomenal. Hoyer, Castle was great. Brissett stepped in and was amazing. Am I missing anybody? Mallett.
For the 1 year when Brady got hurt.
Yeah, and then like Mallett, I think even played a couple games. Ryan Mallett or something like that, like maybe Arkansas guy.
Yeah, I think you're. Yep.
But then when they go to all these other teams, like Hoyer, I think went to the Texans, might have had a stint there. And also what's his name? The guy in San Francisco now, Garoppolo.
Yeah.
All of these guys, and he actually was okay with the 49ers his first season, but then got injured. But all these other guys, Castle was trash. Hoyer left and was trash. I feel like we're missing somebody, but like all these backups go and try to be the man somewhere else, and they're just garbage. And someone I was talking to was like, Brissett's actually not that bad. He might be okay. But he hasn't done anything, right?
No, it's different. Quarterbacks, it's so weird because like some guys, they just deem they're ready to go by rookie year, even second or third year, and other guys, they sit for 4 or 5 years. Aaron Rodgers sat for quite a bit, and like it's crazy. It kind of adds to the longevity of your career, and you just take in everything that you've seen, and like Tom Brady and then Andrew Luck. Like you're sitting behind some really, really good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Great quarterbacks,
It's almost to their benefit, because I mean, like a lot of these guys, it's almost like a fine wine. The older you get, the more the more experiences they have, the more you have, the more stuff you see. You develop as a person. You become stronger. You're in the weight room every day, and this will make me transition to something I want to ask you about. And I had this later on my list, but I think it works now. Is Dwight Howard, signing with the Lakers? Almost like a backup quarterback role or something like that, where it's just like you've seen it all. You've been on the bench for 4 years. You've humbled yourself. You know how to handle certain situations. You think he's going to make a difference in LA?
I don't know. It's tough. Like I've definitely gone down that thought process with everything that you just said. Like, well, it's also he's not supposed to be the man. He knows he's not supposed to be the man. He's trying to just put in work. But there were other options out there that checked off all the boxes that we just talked about too. The veteran presence, they've seen it all. Guys like Joakim Noah, even someone like Marcin Gortat, like that don't have that kind of ego.
Yeah.
I guess, for lack of a better word, or even personality. Like Noah's got a great personality, but he's got a personality of like.
But it's a hard worker type of.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
He's gonna fight, and I don't know. Like I don't know how that's gonna work. Especially he averaged 17 points a game last year.
Dwight?
I think so.
Wow. Yeah, and he could always rebound, and that's the upside with Dwight, is just like he's a freak athletically. So it's almost just like where Noah has that mentality of like just a dog. He maybe can't run up and down the court, for whatever 20 minutes or something like that. Whereas Dwight could still get up, block shots, and rebound and jump with the best of them. But to your point, I think like once you have that ego, and you could say all the right things, you can do all the right things, but like once everything starts rolling and it gets good, and then more media shows up and they start giving you a little bit more love, you sort of start to revert back to that old person because you start feeling like the man again, whereas right now everyone's shitting on you. It's easy to be the underdog and say like, oh, I'm at the bottom, I got to work my way up. But what happens when you get back up to the top? Are you still gonna be like that low key, under the radar guy, or are you going to start to be LA flashy again, where now you're talking shit and now you're tweeting stuff and now you're going out to all the Hollywood parties? Because like no one's inviting you to a Hollywood party now. You're garbage, like you were possibly doing weird shit in Washington, and we don't want you at our party when you're doing stuff like that. But you start winning a couple games with the Lakers and LeBron's schmoozing you up on the sidelines. Now you're the man again. Now you feel like the man again. So it's like it's an interesting dynamic because he's been the man his whole life, where it's almost like it's like a smoking habit where it's just so tough to shake that.
And his last couple of years too, like he's had really good years in small market teams, and that maybe there isn't a coincidence with that. Maybe that's what works for him, and we'll find out. But it's like you said, LA, you're going to experience the highest of highs when you go 20-21 game, and then the lowest of lows when you're 0 for 7 on the line and we're booing the shit out of you. And You're going to be on the front page, and they're going to look at LeBron's reaction, and no matter what how he reacts, it's going to get blown up. So I don't love it, man. The Lakers never used to miss so much with these free agency options, with draft picks, and we've had a good draft, with Kuzma, and recently I have no problems with taking any of those guys, even the ones that we traded with Ball and Ingram, but we don't do the same things that we once used to.
I agree with that 100%. I feel like in the past there was always more of a plan. There was more of like, we're going to go out and get this guy, and if we don't, we're going to stick to our plan. Whereas LeBron just throws a wrench into that shit, where it's just like, we've got LeBron, we sort of just got to like make a rash decision and sign somebody real quick. It's just like, hold on, we got a good roster. Maybe get someone that just fits a little bit more. Like, don't just go after the biggest name, They make more rash decisions now, where I agree with you. In the past, it was more structured of what we're going to do. And, like, let's move our pawn to eventually move, this big-ass piece in the back that'll really change the whole outlook of basketball.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's the best way to describe it, is these rash decisions. And it's like, are you trying to make a winning team, or do you care about making stars outside of the court? You know what I mean? Like, it's so odd to me, the thought process behind it, because JaVale McGee, he's our backup center. I had no problem with him being the starting center. And then you get a guy that split and cut some minutes because he plays his ass off, he plays defense, he rebounds, he does everything that we needed him to do, that we need a center to do, that anyone needs that. I was shocked that Dwight even wanted to do this again. Were you not? Like,
no, hell no, man. That did not surprise me. It surprised you that Dwight wanted to go back to L.A.?
It surprised me, yeah. We didn't treat him good. Like,
yeah,
in terms
I
of the
think
players and it was...
That started with Kobe, though.
Yeah.
And granted, Kobe probably still looms over the Lakers organization a lot, but I think enough time has passed where I don't even really remember how ugly it was. Like, I know it was ugly, but that was so long ago, man. Like, shit changes in a couple years. That's why, like, in a year or a year and a half, if Luck says, I'm fully recovered, I've cleared my mind, people won't even remember this shit today, or that happened Saturday.
That's fair if he's going to redeem himself too. Like, I get that, but like you said, that was 2012, whatever it was, and that seemed like a big deal at the time. And then now you have so much crazy drama in the NBA that was nothing compared to what it is now. And it's like, I don't know. I think Rob Pelinka's either gonna, I think, like, do you think there's no middle ground with Rob Pelinka with the moves that he's made? He's either gonna rise to the top, and he's gonna be a guy that they see kind of help change the way teams look at their general managers and how they go about that process of getting one, or he's gonna fucking sink. He's gonna sink.
I think, and I know you probably don't want to hear this. I think it's gonna get ugly with the Lakers. Like I don't see how all those egos, like, and all those players come together and make it work. You know, like, as great as I think Rondo is, and I'm the biggest Rondo guy. I think Rondo's great, but like, I don't think he fits with that LA team. I think, like, if you put him on like a Memphis or something like that, like, he can pull out the best in, like, you know, these young guards or something, and like get them to be like, you know, win a second, you know, get to the second round or something like that. But I don't think that his personality works for the Lakers like that, especially with another guy like LeBron just clashing like that.
I agree, and like, I think it's gotten so bad to the point where LeBron, his ego, his personality is like on the back burner compared with some of these guys, especially last year when you had guys like, you know, over the past few years, you had some really like crazy personalities in there, Stevenson and all them, and we saw that didn't really work too well, and we keep going for that. And it's like, that's why I was happy when they signed a guy like Alex Caruso, 4-year deal, because there's one thing that's on his mind. You know what I'm saying? I was happy when they kind of shipped Ball out, because that circus the first 2 years of his career was way too much. That wasn't – the Lakers were never like that.
Yeah.
They were flash on the court,
right?
Whatever was off the court was like very – especially the Kobe era, there was no flash off the court.
Yeah.
You did your job.
Yep. Right? And there wasn't like whether this is LeBron's fault or not, but there is that like circus that comes with LeBron, you know, and it's, you know, you're going to get, you know, his agent stuff, and you're going to get the movie stuff, and you're going to get, you know, the TV show stuff. So like
the tweets, man, the backhanded fucking compliments with the tweets, and it's the little things like that. Mm-hmm. It's not necessary. And he's very tone deaf in that, and I don't think that. I think that's why I've never seen him as a good leader. Obviously he's the best basketball player. Like,
I agree with you 100% there. Yep, but there's so many other factors that come into like being the greatest basketball player of all time. Now on court, he's got a really good case to make, you know, that he's the greatest of all time. Whether it's his physical attributes, you know, he's won championships, he's done it all. But off the court, that stuff matters too, you know? And I think, and I really think this is what's going to happen. I think it's going to be an ugly year for the Lakers, and I think it's just going to be like a barnstorming thing for LeBron after that. It's going to be like, he may even go to another team, and like it's just going to be like a bouncing around type of shit until his son comes in the league, and then it'll be like, I'll play on your team if you pick my son up, you know? But I don't think it's going to end well with the Lakers, and I think it's really going to be like a bidding war for LeBron after this year, that, you know, maybe he goes to like a random team, you know? Like I could see him maybe building shop in, I could never see him in like a Utah or some shit like that, but like I could see him going to like an Atlanta or somewhere, you know, where he just really wants to like blow that city out of the water, and it's just like he starts bouncing around.
It's crazy because he's created this identity for basketball where it's all one big pickup game every fucking year. You opt out, and this will be fun for this year. Oh, let's go live in. We'll be neighbors, and then we'll play on the same team. Like that shit's not cute. Yep. I hate that shit. That's what like turns people away from the NBA, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I think the GM with Pelinka. I think you're right. I think it's crazy hard to have a personality as a GM, right? Like Pat Riley does it perfect. Yeah, he's got he's a polarizing figure. Mm-hmm. He's got a great personality. Has it ever interfered with basketball operations once? No. And I don't think like Pelinka does. No, you can't do that, man.
No, and even if it does go well for the Lakers, like there's no sustainability with that, you know. Like a lot of the guys are older, you know. So like even if you do win one, Is that it? Is that the goal? Like, and then you blow it up and then it starts over again? So it'll be interesting there. I mean, even as good as Dwight is for this 1 year, how many more years left does the guy have?
And I looked at his stats too. He had 2-3 years ago with the Hawks. He was great.
He's a beast. Yeah.
He was great. He was like 13-13. Then 2 years ago, he had 17 a game, and then last year was like 13-9 or whatever, which is it's good, but I don't like. What option are you? You're not an offensive option.
No, there's plenty other.
We don't need you to be
100%, and there's plenty other guys like you said that like could just fit in, no drama. Like sign Martin Gortat. The guy's not, media's not going crazy. It's just like a nice pickup. The guy's tough. But getting into my next point, staying on basketball, I didn't watch the game. I saw the one the other night when USA beat Australia, but in Australia they lost Saturday night to the Australian national team. And I don't know what this is. I don't know if I think these are just exhibition games.
I was going to ask you. I'm not sure what FIBA is in general.
I think it is. I think we've qualified for the world for like the Olympics already or whatnot, and these are just like I'm not surprised we lost the back-to-back game in Australia in front of however many people are in that stadium because like Australia's got some good players. They got Patty Mills went off 30 points. They got Joe Ingles. I think they got a couple other NBA guys. So like. I was surprised to see the stat that they had never beaten the USA, and it's been like 66 years or 70 years or something that they've been playing against each other. So, like, when I saw that they lost, it almost had my conspiracy wheels thinking again, where it was just like, USA can't go out to Australia and just beat them both games, in front of their home, like, crowd, in front of, like, 70,000 or whoever people are there. It's almost just like Pop works something out where it's just like, maybe he's resting a couple guys to make the game a little closer or something like that. Like, granted, he doesn't want to just lose the game, but it didn't surprise me that they lost.
Yeah, and to your point, I do think it's preseason, and I think Pop just is playing dudes out and seeing, because they didn't have to finalize rosters yet either.
No.
So they had to finalize them right after it, and just Kuzma got hurt, so they just sent him home. It's like, whatever.
Kuzma got hurt?
Yeah, he, like, rolled his ankle or something. Coming down on a 3, like nothing crazy, but it's like, okay, this ain't worth it. Go rest for the Lakers.
Yeah, and then other guys' mindsets maybe change a little bit, where it's just like it's a Sunday in Australia, like we're flying home after this, like
they're not going hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's pull back the reins a little bit. So that one didn't surprise me, and I don't think it like. It was probably great for Australia. Maybe like all of Australia was going crazy and people bought extra beer and all this stuff. But like back here in the U.S., I did a couple scrolls on Twitter to like try and find some articles on it, and then it was just like this is the end of your search, and I was just like
very minimal.
I was like, oh, that's it. I mean, like they hadn't beat us ever, and it's been 66 years, and all I did was scroll twice, and it's like the end of the search. It's not that big of a deal.
No, it was. It is a big deal for Australia.
Yeah, for them, exactly. Like they're all going crazy. They'll probably buy an extra Joe Ingles jersey, or Patty Mills sales are gonna go skyrocketing, and he can go into any kangaroo zoo now and just be fine. But like, we could care less.
Yeah. So no, it's I don't even know what FIBA is necessarily.
No.
Because it's just like a watered down version of Team USA. If you look at our roster, and I like our roster, but it's like guys like Marcus Smart and shit. Like they work hard, but
I don't even know if I like our roster. Like Chris Middleton, Jason Tatum's still young, and you're going to be going up against grown ass men. It'll be interesting to see. But like, you see James Harden like playing in these pickup games, and you see LeBron playing in pickup games, and all these guys, and it's just like. You can't spend a weekend with your family in Australia and play for the United States team and take 2 weeks and go to wherever the Olympics are in the summer and compete for our country. Like, you can't do that? That's too much for you? But you can play pickup games every weekend?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But it's lose-lose probably for them, because then it's like one of them gets hurt Like, imagine if it was LeBron who rolled an ankle. They'd be like, why the fuck is he playing this?
Would they say that though? I feel like the
think so.
country's different when you put like the USA on. I feel like like the storyline changes where it's just like, but he was doing it competing for his country. You know? You don't think so?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
There's certain guys where the storyline's going to be whatever, regardless. You know, maybe a LeBron, it's just like, should he have been there in the first place? And it's just like, shut the fuck up. You know?
Either way, it does bring more eyes to it, right?
Yeah.
You're going to pay attention more probably with some certain names on the roster. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that one always struck me when, like, we couldn't get our top guys because, like, put injuries aside, put all this shit aside, you're playing in games regardless, you know? Like, it's easy for me to say that I'm not in the position, but, like, having the USA on your chest and knowing that, like, all that, like, soldiers do and just everything going on and how many people rally around the country when it's going on, even to them, it's just like they got to feel like, damn, I'm not there doing this.
You don't have some random-ass coach coaching you either. You got the best
exactly
guy who will say, what do you want to do, 11 minutes tonight? Okay.
Yeah, and you don't. Yeah, to your point, you don't have to play. Yeah, you don't have to play all that too. So, yeah, no. Shout out to Australia. They did their thing, and they're probably going nuts there. I forgot to ask my friend because my friend actually lives in Australia. So I was curious to see if it even made a blip on his radar that happened on Saturday night. It's probably actually like Friday or Sunday for them. A couple other things I want to ask you. Green Bay, Oakland played in Winnipeg, and Canadian football is a little bit different. The field was all messed up, the last like 20 yards of the field. So you're familiar with Canadian football, but I think they put like the field goal post in the middle of the end zone, which is weird. And it started running through my head of these like engineers who, well, for the Canadian Football League, one, it's interesting that the field goals are in the middle of the end zone because, like, you're running a route and you got to know how to avoid this thing. And that's how the goalpost used to be, I think, in the NFL, like, back in the day, you know? One, why the hell do they do that? And two, did it make you think of any other fields or stadiums that, like, have, like, pretty messed up surfaces that these teams have to play on? Because I could think of a couple off the top of my head.
You put on the NFL channel, and when you see the old ass dudes, they always had the field goal
right
in the middle,
but like right in the middle of the shit, and it's just like,
how do you not run into it?
And if you're a quarterback, like in the back of the end zone, you got to throw over that to like hit some, like you could use that as a pick. It's got to be impossible though for a quarterback to throw a touchdown behind that thing.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely like. A couple guys got in a room together, a couple NFL officials way back in the day, and they were just like, we've been doing this? This makes no sense.
Well, they're just like, we got to put it halfway in the middle of the end zone because the back of it doesn't make sense. Just put it in the middle or like the front of the end zone. I don't think they had any thought process behind it, but you started seeing this in the NFL with like that back umpire who receivers will like strategically map out their routes so that the defender has to like avoid him, and then they'll like pop open for a catch. Like they use that guy as to their advantage now.
Yeah, I like that. I'm a fan of that. Like that's smart.
It is. Yeah, I love that idea. I think the Patriots might have been the first team to do that. It might have been like Edelman like running right up to the guy and then running behind, and the guy's got to like duck and get out of the way. But like
it's like a pick.
Yeah, if you're standing on the field, you're fair game.
Yeah, no, that's. I don't know how refs don't get trampled more. I don't get because they're not like, they're old. They're not like. I think I would get hit at least once a game if I tried.
That's actually a great point. Yeah, how I've like ref, pick up basketball game. Well, not pick up, but I've ref some basketball games before, and you always at some point find yourself on a fast break, like running, in front of the point guard or something. You got to like move to the side or something. And yes, these are the best referees in the world. I put that in quotes because they all suck. But like the guy in the middle, you don't know where the play's going to develop. These guys are so fast. All it takes is one juke from a running back. Like, how is he not getting trampled more? Is such a good point.
Yeah, it's I would definitely suck as a ref because like I don't think I would I think I would just get caught up in the play and watch, and I think that's how you get trampled. So I would get trampled. But if you continue to move, that's probably like the first thing they teach you. It's like, keep moving, like move with them.
Keep moving, but to your point, you're right. These guys are like 60 years old. They got bellies. Yeah, like you got some sideline referee who he's got to run a route with OBJ and like make sure that his feet are in bounds when he catches it. Like the guy can barely move, and OBJ's running like 4.3 40 or something like that. And you got to sprint down the sideline with him to make sure that like he doesn't let the ball loose at like the goal. When he gets over the end zone. That's a tough ask.
Your head is just bobbing back and forth.
So that too.
Like, how are you ever seeing something and then while someone else is moving? So it's just, I don't know. It wouldn't work for me.
No, that's tough, man. Yeah, that's a tough ask, especially from an old ass dude. I'm 31 and like I gotta have a tough time running. I look at some of these guys, and like even as in shape. So like Ed Hockley is like the gold standard of referees. Everybody idolizes his muscles and all this stuff. But like he's still got flabby arms because he's old, and like he's got to have like he can't run. All these he can't run for 4 quarters for 15 minutes the whole game.
Well, those guys got motors, man. Like in the NBA especially, like they probably have some kind of workout regimen, and it's just like going on a treadmill for 6 miles at about 15 miles an hour. And just
there's like the referee. They got one treadmill with just referee, like the referee button.
Yeah, the referee mode. It's flat. You're not going incline or decline, and you're going 3 miles an hour, and you're just like this. And you gotta look sideways every once in a while.
The best is when Joey Crawford would used to like run backwards, and like there's the like epic YouTube videos of him just like tumbling over.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how that guy stays with it, but like it made me think. So they shortened the field. They didn't use like the last 20 yards of the field, and it made me think of the different, like, so like the Raiders have always had to play on the A's field with the baseball field on it, which I don't know how they could play, like how it's a disadvantage for them to like play on a field that is dirt, like to go from grass to dirt is a big difference if you're a receiver, like you're not used to that.
Looks cool on TV, but I gotta imagine it kind of sucks probably, right?
100%, but like they've got so much millions and millions of dollars. You're telling me that like play somewhere else that's a real football field. Like go to the college stadium or something.
That dirt never looks watered down either.
That shit is dry as fuck.
Like, why is that?
I don't get it. I mean, like,
water that shit down, man.
Water shit down. Like, find a different solution. Like, I think of basketball teams, and when they, I noticed at Madison Square Garden, they'll put the court over like the ice rink, and the like ice will seep through. You've seen this happen at games, and it's just like, stop being lazy for a second, and just like maybe take the ice out, or like do something different where like there's not ice underneath a wood floor, because I'm pretty sure that water is going to seep through.
That's when you know that there are humans that are running this, and they're sleeping on the job.
They're definitely sleeping on the job. And then another one that came to mind was the old Houston Astros. You remember the hill in center field?
Yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty bright, right?
Yeah, I know. I know. Again, it looked cool for me. I wouldn't have wanted to.
Oh, it looked sick. Yeah.
But it was awesome.
Like, let's have one of the greatest athletes in the world, the center fielder for Major League Baseball, running full steam ahead on a fly ball, and then just raise the ground a little bit so he doesn't know where it's at. That'll go well.
You know what? I propose more shit like that. Have like ramps and stuff they could run and jump off of to rob something. Like
just like random shit popping out of the field when they're like going for a catch. It's just like boing, like something pops out of the ground.
Pretty much make it a backyard baseball field. Make it like a junkyard.
Oh, there's got to be other fields and other stuff that like Tampa Bay. I guess there's just a byproduct of like their stadium. They have those catwalks up top that the ball gets stuck on.
Yeah.
But like not very ideal when you're an outfielder or anybody looking up and you see that white dome and you're looking for like a white ass baseball.
Have you ever been to Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
The stadium.
Yeah, it was like walking into like a waste management factory.
It's like
dump.
yeah, no, it is. It's like it's like okay, they built this. The constructors said, "All right, we're done," and then no one else did anything, like at all. Like there's just nothing. It's the most plain thing ever. It's like, okay, the frame of it's built.
The seats are there.
Playing it.
No, yeah, it was bare. It was actually sad. I was walking. It was Yankees were playing the Rays, so I was like a couple days before, I was like, damn, maybe I won't get a ticket to the game. It's the Yankees, like they're big sell. It was like a Friday night game. CeCe was pitching or something. I look on StubHub, it was like $4 for like whatever, like 100 level seats. I go to the stadium, nobody there. Like I could have a conversation with the second baseman if I wanted to. It was dead, and I would walk through the concourse just randomly throughout the game, and like all the concession people for like the team shops and all these things, they're standing outside of the store because no one's in there. They're like, I was like, this is almost sad. And then they got like the team ticket guys that like have a table set up to try and sell season tickets. I'm like,
you know what I love there is like walking. You could walk through the rows and not have to say excuse me at all, and you just walk from right to left field, like through. You don't have to go up. You're not in anyone's way.
No.
And you could walk and get a home run or a foul ball. Like,
easily.
No one moves. Like if someone hits, it's like you just find loose major league game used baseballs all around.
Easily. I was loving it because we were sitting actually in like left field, and I remember saying to Molly, I was like, when we get home, I should watch ESPN because you're going to see us. Because literally the whole section was open, and it was just like me, Molly, and Nix. So like occasionally I'd like put my hands up or something like that. I was like, I'm definitely on Yes Network right now. So like maybe I'll text a couple of like my New York boys to see if they could see me in left field. But like that's the type of stadium wherever you sit, you're going to be like the only person in that section. So like bring a sign. Do something funny with some popcorn because like you'll probably get on. If you ever watch like ESPN and they show like these fans sleeping or like eating popcorn in a weird way or like just doing something random, it's usually at like a Tampa Bay game or like an A's game. These stadiums that like nobody goes to the games and the sections are just completely open.
It's dead.
It's dead because it's like the camera guys almost like at a Yankee game. They could find the hot chick that they want to put on TV. It's like it's just an overload of people that they want to put on. They could put a cute kid eating cotton candy or like an old couple. Tampa Bay, the camera guy's like, he goes into work and he's like, fuck, I got to really dig to like find a fan today.
Low key, one of the hardest jobs in sports.
No, yeah, shout out to the Tampa Bay Rays. Like hopefully like maybe I feel like we probably have like a Tampa listener. Shout out to the Tampa Bay Rays camera crew because, like, you guys are the real MVPs because most of the time your fans are wearing, like, the other team's gear, or if it is, like, a Tampa Bay fan, it's probably some weirdo that's, like, got season tickets that, like, if you put him on camera, he's probably picking his nose or just looks all disheveled, and it's not a good look for your TV station.
The camera crew gets the list for the day of what to look for, and like the hardest thing is like, all right, find a fan wearing a Rays hat. It's like shit. I don't know if I'm gonna find that. That's hard.
Oh, find any fan wearing a Rays jersey and hat. The Rays camera guys got a tough time, and also San Diego's. San Diego packs with like the opponent's team. I don't know how it is now with like Machado, and I don't even know if they're doing well or not. But that shit is like being at an away game for the home team there.
Really?
Yeah, I went to a Cubs Padres game there, and it was like I was at Wrigley.
That's
insane.
I know the visiting teams gotta pray when they see the schedule that they have an off day in San Diego. That's gotta be an all-time off day.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful off day. Like, are you kidding? Like, the best.
Imagine, and I've always said this, but like, if you're a baseball player and, the draft comes out in any order, these guys never know where they're going. But if it's like Milwaukee, and then the pick after is San Diego. And like, there's a big difference on like if you get drafted by Milwaukee or San Diego. No shade to Milwaukee, but that shit is not San Diego. And like, it's just like a random one pick selection. Like, if you're like, I don't know, baseball's like a million different rounds, right?
Yeah.
And you're like the 637th pick, or going to be like the 638th pick, and it's either San Diego or like fucking Milwaukee. You better hope to God it's San Diego.
But it's also, you know what it is too? It's when they get drafted, they're going to a shit town regardless, because all the minor league teams are in like podunk little ass towns that like you're gonna struggle for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. And like minor league baseball towns are always like the weirdest baseball towns.
Oh, man, tough.
Like weird Iowa places, or like outside of Kansas City or some shit like that in Missouri.
That's why I don't get why Tebow would want to do it. I would have loved to do it 10 years ago, but like you tell me that now, it's like
he was in like Binghamton and Syracuse, right?
Yeah.
They had like a Las Vegas at a minor level, right?
Year.
Oh, Vegas is like okay. But I know, yeah, they're in like Binghamton. But that's why it makes me think about Tebow is just like, that guy's ready to just like play. If he's willing to like go to these shitty towns and actually like is he living in Binghamton while he plays for the Mets? Yeah, or is he just like flying back and forth?
This year. Dude, I wonder that too. I really would love to. I want a source on that. Do you think he's living in Syracuse? And he hurt himself. He looked perfectly fine on game day. Like he probably was like, it's football season. I'm out.
Did you see Desmond Howard's comment?
About
they were talking about like Michigan playing, I think, Florida State, and someone asked him, would they win? And he was like, this is on game day, and he was like, is Desmond Howard going to have to smack a bitch?
He said that?
On air, and then like everybody went crazy, and like he came back on air and apologized, and then he like followed up with, right after that comment, was like, I can give you my barbershop answer, and then I can give you my like regular talk people answer. And like, his job is on ESPN, so he sort of has to watch himself a little bit, but like, that's the type of shit you want to see, is someone just being like authentic, like where
that's why podcasts are so popular.
Exactly.
As opposed to watching on ESPN.
Where like, if you can't get Desmond Howard to say like a famous Chappelle show skit, like, is Desmond Howard gonna have to smack a bitch, and not like laugh at that, then you're not getting real raw stuff from like TV anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's cool. I wish I heard that.
Yeah, no, it's all over Twitter. Like Deadspin has it, and they slowed it down, and they're like, "Is Desmond Howard gonna have to smack a bit?" And then they like sped it up. It was actually pretty funny. I think that's all I got right now. Anything you want to add?
No, I'm trying to think. I think we got everything right. Again, it's like it'll pick up.
Yeah, the Luck stuff. We spent a lot of time on Luck because I thought, I mean, that's huge news. I mean, like that. If you're the owner of that team, and not to really get back into it too much, but like, it changes the whole outlook of your team. Like, if you told me tomorrow that you can't do the podcast anymore, like the shit's over.
Yeah.
You're the quarterback of the Colts, and it's just like, sorry, I can't do this anymore. You're just like,
my voice box can't do it anymore.
Fuck, like. But I thought I saw this, and I don't know if someone was just speculating, but like, can Kaepernick get a call?
He can, yeah. I don't see why he can't, right? But
I don't know how like
Jacoby's better. Jacoby, I think, will be fine, and I think their backup is an electric factory. Chad Kelly, he's
really
crazy. He's crazy.
I never like. Just young guy or something like that?
Yeah, he's a young dude. What college? I think he went to Ole Miss. He got arrested last year for going to a house party. Or no. He was like drunk at a house party and walked in someone else's house.
Wow, good for him.
It was actually, I mean...
You gotta be a white guy, right?
Yeah.
That's only a white guy move.
Literally the first thing that you see when you search Chad Kelly is you have his team photo of him in the jersey, and then you have his mugshot.
Oh, I think I heard about this guy. Yeah. I don't know too much about him, but I heard that, like, yeah, he's always getting caught up with stuff. But no, who knows? Maybe he breaks into someone's house again, and they need a backup quarterback. I'm all for. I'm for Kaepernick and like his whole movement, obviously, and all this stuff. But I also just like want to see what would happen if like an NFL team signed him. You know, like I'm here for like just like what the coverage would be. It'd just be cool seeing him in a uniform, you know, and like seeing when he does take a knee again. Like I just want to see what that would be like if he did get signed by, like, what team would sign him, and like the backlash would be, and the whole like, you know, crazy Republicans coming out and like I'm protesting. I'm all for that.
That's why I would be surprised if the Colts did it, because they do expect to. I mean, they expected to contend with Luck. I imagine they'll expect to contend again.
Mm-hmm.
If Brissett gets hurt or something else happens, then maybe. But it's like they kind of have a plan in place already.
Yeah.
I think Kaepernick's done at this point.
You think so?
It would be interesting to just see, because I don't know enough. Like, I don't think he's good enough to warrant all of the attention. Is what I think. It's like the same thing with Tebow. I relate him with Tebow a lot.
But like Kaepernick's whole thing, and not to get into his whole, but like he was like, I think it was like back-to-back NFC championships. You know, like he had some like epic. But yeah, Tebow had some epic performances too.
With the Broncos, yeah, and then kind of just got sent on his way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, I don't even care how Kaepernick does on the field, like, you know, playing wise. I just want to see like everybody get riled up. Like I would love.
It would be chaos.
Yeah, I just want to see all that chaos. And, you know, it's just like we've seen so much chaos. Like, I want to see what team would take a chance. You know, I want to see like the head coach have to answer questions, and like, fuck it. Like, I want to see the Patriots do it. So like, you know, people like they could just shut that shit. Like, I just want to see what would happen. I'm all for that. You know.
That would, honestly, the only way that it would maybe work is if like someone like the Patriots came calling.
And Belichick was just like, we signed him, that's it. And they're like trying to ask him questions, and he's just like, no, we're here, we're done.
I would like to see him get signed just to see if he still got it. But he will you're getting 6 games. He's getting like half a year. You know what I'm saying?
No,
He's
see, I don't even care about all the
years.
games and shit like that. Like, I just want to see the whole uniform. I want to see the afro. Like,
yeah.
I just want to see all the after effects shit that comes with it. I don't care about what happens on the field.
Yeah, no, I think the team would just be like, all right, if he sucks like halfway through the year,
then it'd be like, peace out. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's Sports Buffet number 4. Ask some mother effing questions, because, like I said, I got plenty of stuff in my basement I'm trying to get rid of. And Matt's ready to answer some questions. I'm ready to answer some questions.
On there too, so.
Yeah. So fire away with even comments. I know
what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, anything.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know your thoughts, because we're here for it. All right, thank you, Matt. We'll see you next week. Peace out.